morning, students. Today again I welcome you to your online class. Now today we are going to start a new chapter from your literature. Okay, and the chapter is Can We Change This? Written by Bama. Okay, now she is very well known Tamil novelist. Okay, Bama, and this story is just an extract from her novel Karuku. Okay, and she was well known for her writings about untouchability. So we are reading this extract. So let's do it. Now there's one question which arises in the beginning of the chapter is that do we treat people differently based on their caste, creed or skin color? Yes, many a times it has been observed even now. People earlier they were not very educated and that time they used to behave or they used to ill treat people based on their caste. If they were of lower caste, they used to treat badly, creed or skin color, like dark skin color also. So religion and everywhere, like they used to be treated very ill, in a very ill manner. Why? Because at that time the people were not educated, and that is why they thought that that work is inferior, this work is superior. So like they used to consider work, but every work is important. If we are not going to, if we don't have sweepers, then who's going to clean? We cannot live in that filth. So obviously that work is very important. So now we understand things that each and every work is important, and no work is small or no work is big, isn't it? Every work is very important. Even cooking, like at home when your mom cooks, that's very important work. But housewives are not considered or they're not given a very big thing. Like, so obviously there is discrimination. Some people think, it is everything is in their mind. Why they think, we don't know. But still they think, isn't it? Even untouchability, like we see in there have been many occasions in USA also. You must have read those news. One man, he was killed, that policeman, he kept his feet on his neck and he was pressing it so badly that he almost died, and the people were there on the road. Those African people, isn't it? American Africans. So those people, even they fought against discrimination. So we find discrimination every now and then, everywhere. Even nowadays, if you see in villages or when the sweepers are there on the road, obviously when people give them, they just avoid touching those people. Why? Okay, because they think that they are dirty. Okay, so discrimination, even nowadays we find discrimination on like everywhere, most of the places. Like when people come to work at our places, you must have seen that they keep cups and glasses separately, or they give given disposable. Okay, why? Because this is discrimination. So even nowadays, when people they have been educated, but then also their minds are not educated. That's what we feel. So can we change this? This question arises Bama. Now Bama, this writer, she was born in 1958 and she is still there, not very old. So she, when she was young, she felt all these things. She has experienced, when she was a little girl, she experienced all these things, and that is why she has written all her experience in this novel Karaku. And this is just an extract from that novel Karaku. Can we change this? So today we are going to read this. So we'll start from the very first page, that is page 75. So do we treat people differently based on their caste, creed or skin? Yes, nowadays also. Have you experienced or witnessed discrimination of any kind? You might have experienced, you might not have also experienced. Here are some experiences of a young girl who has been a victim of untouchability. And this girl, Bama, she has been a victim of this untouchability, and that is why she has written this novel, and we are going to read this extract from that. So she says that when I was studying in class 3, very little girl, just in class 3, I hadn't yet heard people speak openly of untouchability. Like people never used to speak openly, but inside they used to treat people, or they used to humiliate people, discriminate people. But I had already seen, felt, experienced, and been humiliated by what it is. I was walking home. So once what happened when she was walking home from school one day, an old bag hanging from my shoulder, I crossed the street of the Pallas. Now Pallas and Pariahs, Pallas were the people of higher caste, and upper caste you can say, and the Pariahs were of the lower caste. So when she was passing from that street, in a corner a threshing floor had been set up, and the Naikar watched the proceedings seated on a piece of sacking spread over a stone ledge. So you can see in the picture also. So the Naikar, he was sitting there on the stone ledge, and field, like it was all spread. The wheat was spread, and the bullocks, the kettles were muzzled. Their mouths were tied so that they cannot eat grains. The animals were muzzled so that they would help themselves to the straw. I stood for a while there and watching, like she was watching this. So she stood there, the little girl, and she was watching the fun there. Just then, an elder of our street came along from the direction of the bazaar holding a parcel. And just then, what she sees that an elderly person, he was holding a parcel of some eatable which the Naika must have ordered. Now the little girl says, Bama, she's saying that the manner in which he was walking made me want to double up. Double up means that she felt laughing, and by laughing she wanted to double up like that. I wanted to shriek with laughter at the sight of such a big man carrying a small parcel in that fashion. And in what fashion he was holding? He was holding it with a string. It was tied up with a string at the end. I guess there was something like vadai like eatable, or green banana bhaji in the packet, because the wrapping paper was stained with oil. So because that paper was stained with oil, so this girl at once she comes to know that yes, some eatable is there. He was holding out the packet by its string without really touching any part of the parcel itself. So why he was holding it like that? So that he might not touch that parcel. Otherwise, they'll get dirty or not pure. I stood there thinking to myself, if he holds it like that, won't the packet come undone and the vadais fall out? So she thought that if he's holding in that manner, maybe the vadais, they can come out and they can fall on the ground. The elder went straight up to the landlord, bowed low and extended the packet towards him, cupping the hand that ended the string with his other hand. Naikar opened the parcel and began to eat the vadais. So this old man, he straight away went to the Naikar and he offered him, he just gave him, and without touching his hand, okay, he just gave him. And the Naikar also, he just cupped his hand and took the vadais in his hand, and at once he opened the packet and he started eating. After I had watched all this, I went home. My elder brother was there. I told him the story in all its comic details. So like this was a fun for the little girl. She was laughing, and why she was laughing? Because she found the way he was holding that packet was very funny, and so this girl was laughing. But when she went home and she told everything to her elder brother, the elder brother, he was a bit serious. Why he was serious? Because he at once understood that yes, this is the untouchability which is being practiced here. I fell about with laughter at the memory of a big man and an elder at that, making such a game out of carrying the parcel. But Anna is the elder brother, in Tamil you call it Anna, was not amused. Why he was not amused? Because he was an elder person and he understood everything. Anna told me the man wasn't being funny when he carried the package like that. He said everybody believed that Naikars were upper caste and therefore must not touch anything touched by the pariahs. Like anything touched by the pariahs, the Pallas they cannot touch because Pallas are of the upper caste. So they cannot touch the things which were touched by the pariahs. If they did, they would be polluted. And if they are going to touch that, obviously they'll get polluted. So it's not good. That's why he had to carry the package by its string. And that is why that man, that elderly person, he had to hold that package in that manner. When I heard this, I did not want to laugh anymore. Now the girl, Bama she understood that this is not good. And I felt terribly sad. How could they believe that it was disgusting if a pariah held that packet in his hands, even though the vadai had been first wrapped in a banana leaf. Like first, the vadais were wrapped in the banana leaf, and on top of that, it was a newspaper which was tied up. So how can those vadais become polluted? Okay, because it was doubly secure. So how it can get polluted? That's why he had to. Okay. Though the vadai had been first wrapped in a banana leaf and then parceled in a paper, I felt so provoked and angry that I wanted to go and touch those wretched vadais myself straight away. The girl felt really very bad and annoyed also. She just wanted to go and touch that packet so that she wanted to make that packet polluted and he should not be able to eat those vadais, and that is why she was feeling really very bad and annoyed also. Why should we fetch and carry for these people, I wondered. And then she started feeling that why should we do such work for these people when they feel that we are untouchables or we are polluted people, then why should we serve those people? It's better they do their work themselves. I wondered, such an eminent elder of ours goes off meekly to the shops to fetch snacks and hands them over reverently, bowing and shrinking to his fellow, who just sits there and stuffs them into his mouth. She is really being very annoyed. She thinks that why should we work for them? Okay, the old people, like he is serving this Naikar, and how he is treating this elderly person. The thought of it infuriated, like, and very annoyed. How was it that these fellows thought so much of themselves? Was it because they had scraped 4 coins together? So she said that because these people are, they have a lot of money, and that is why they just have 4 coins more than us, and that is why they are behaving in that manner. What did it mean when they called us pariah? And when they call us pariah, what do they mean? So she's really feeling very bad and annoyed. Had the name become that obscene, but we too are human beings. She's saying that even we are human beings and we should not be treated in such a manner. Our people should never run these petty errands for these people. Petty errands means small works. Our people should not do such small work for these landlords. We should work in their fields, take home our wages and leave it at that. So she thinks that we just should go to their fields, work, take our wages and straight away. No any other work, household work we should do, or we should help them. Now the little girl, she actually had 2 grannies. Okay, she had 2 grandmothers. Like both my grandmothers worked as servants for Naikar's family. So these both the grannies, they used to work for the Naikar's family, like landlord's family. So they would go there and do some household work, and in return she would get some food or some other articles also. Both my, like they used to go and work. In the case of one of them, when she was working in the fields, even tiny children born the other day. Like, and when one of the granny, when she used to work in the field, even the smallest of the boys who were just born the other day, like the Naikar's family, even he would call granny with her name. Okay, that means he would not give respect to granny. Would call her by her name and order her about, and he would just order to do things for him just because they belong to the Naikar's caste. Naikar's caste, upper class. And this grandmother, like all the other laborers, would call the little boy Ayya. Ayya means master. So the grandmother, like other laborers also, she would just call the little boy Ayya. And Ayya meant master. And run about to do his bidding. And the granny, she would run here and there doing all those work which the little boy would ask granny to do. So bidding means that small work, whatever he would say. It was shameful to see them do this, and really it was very shameful for such small kids to order such elderly people. Even the way they were given their drinking water was disquieting. Now, the way they were given drinking water, from top, and then they would just drink water like this, isn't it? So Seeing this was not very good. It was a sense of worry for the little girl and for many people. Disquieting to watch. The Naiker woman would pour out the water from a height of 4 feet, almost 4 feet. She would drop the water to Granny, and then Granny would drink like this in a cupped hands. Why? Again, she did not want her water to get polluted, or she might not touch the vessel, water vessel. And the others received drank it with cupped hands held to their mouth. I always felt terrible when I watched this. And the little girl, she felt very bad when she used to watch her granny drink water in this manner. My other patti means granny. So other grandmother, what she used to do was the same, and she also used to work in the same manner. What she would do early morning when the sun would just break out. At that time, that granny, she would go to the Naiker's house and she would do all household work. She would sweep the cow sheds and all, and pick cow dungs and all. So all those things she would do. It was a long no. As soon as dawn broke, she would go to the Naiker's house, sweep all the cow shed, collect up the dung and the dirt, and then bring home the leftover rice and curry the previous evening. Now the previous evening, which they would cook rice and curry and so whatever used to be just leftover food, she would give to the granny the next morning, the coming morning. Okay, that means stale food, you can say. And for some reason, she would behave as if she had been handed the nectar of God. And the way the granny would behave as if she has been given a very good food, a very sacred food, something like that. So she would behave as if, oh God, you have given the food, thank you. Like without this, they would not have been survived. So it was a long time before I realized that Patti was bringing home the unwanted food. And it really took a lot of time for the little girl to understand that, oh, this food is being brought from the Naiker's house. And why? Because she works for those people, that is why. One day I went with Patti to the Naiker's house. After she had finished all her filthy chores, Patti placed the vessel that she had brought with her by the side of the drain. Drain means where the filth, the dirty water passes, that drain. So she would keep her vessel there, and there she would give her food. Like even she was not allowed to keep the vessel at a proper place also, because again they would pollute that place. The Naiker lady came out with her leftovers, leaned out means like leaned out from far, and then she would give some distance and dipped them into Patti's vessel and went away. She would just throw it like this in the vessel, and then she would go, as if she never wanted to touch that vessel. Her vessel, it seemed, must not touch Patti's. It would be polluted, obviously. Sometime later, I said to Patti, she should not lay herself open to such behavior. Now the little girl, now she was no more little and she understood things. So she would tell her granny that you should not lay yourself so low in front of these people. Why? Because even we are human beings and one should not behave in that manner. It was ugly to see, and the little girl, she never liked that behavior of those Naikers, and she even did not like the behavior of the granny, how she used to behave in front of those people. Why? So there was always a question mark in this little girl's mind. What Patti said to me in return was this: these people are the Maharajas who feed us our rice. And in return, what answer she got from her granny? That these people are really landlords or Maharajas and they feed our rice. Means it is because of them that we are able to eat food. Now coming to page number 78 of your chapter, can we change this? So the granny, she replied that these people are Maharajas and they are the ones who are feeding our rice and curry to us. Because and without them, these people, they would not survive even. So without them, how will we survive? Haven't they been upper caste from generations to generations, and haven't we been lower caste? Can we change this? So there's a question. She's again putting a question that these people, they have been Maharajas and landlords from generations to generations, and we have been born in a lower caste. So how can we change. Can we change this? No, it's impossible for us to change. My elder brother, who was studying at a university, came home for the holidays. He would often go to the library in our neighboring village in order to borrow books. Now, the little girl Bama's brother, he was studying in a university. Okay, so he got education and he used to go to the library every day in order to borrow some books to study from the village library. He was on his way home one day, walking along the banks of the irrigation tank. One of the Naikar men came up behind him. He thought my Anna looked unfamiliar. So what happened? That day, one day when he was just going towards the library, one of the Naikar's men, the upper caste men, he came there and he thought, oh, that this fellow, he looked a bit unfamiliar, means not familiar, like some very odd person. Why? Because he must have been dressed up nicely, neat and clean, and he did not look like a lower caste. Why? Because now he was educated. And so he asked, who are you, Appa? And then he asked, oh, who are you, Appa? Now, Appa here meant a general term of address. In general, people just address in Tamil, Appa. What's your name? Anna told him his name. Immediately the other man asked, Thambi, on which street do you live? Okay, so at once he told that I am Thambi. So he said, oh, Thambi, on which street do you live? Street means the place. So, why he was asking about the address, he was purposely asking about the address. Why? Because in village, even today when you go to the villages, you will find the areas are divided according to the caste. You will see that Rajputs, they live in one area, whereas the sweepers and all, they have a separate area. The pot makers and all, they have a separate area. So in the villages, you will find these separate areas. Okay, even today, I have witnessed that many villages, they have these separate areas according to their caste. So they are there. So and if you ask the address of that person, and if he tells you the name of the street, so by the name of the street, one can automatically come to know that which caste he belonged to, isn't it? So purposely he was asking about the address or the name. The point of this was that if he knew on which street he lived, he would know our caste too. Understood? The same thing came here, see? So he was asking so that he could come to know about his caste.